Okay, hello everyone. On this section, we'll be walking you through 5 meta restrictions you should avoid and how to avoid them. So when it comes about Facebook restrictions, you should have an idea about this. You are limited to most of these business tools and advertising features, which if you are into business will really cripple your business. So some of the features like the some of the restrictions that I'll be discussing. We have ad account restriction, we have Facebook page restriction, we have domain restriction, we have business manager restriction, we have Facebook profile restriction, and we'll be discussing a lot of that in this very video. So ensure that you are subscribed to the video if to the channel if you are really getting values out of it, and you can check our subsequent videos about how to reinstate a restricted ad account or advertise. If your advertising is restricted, you can get access to ways in which you can verify and reinstate them. So the first advertising restriction we'll be working on is ad account restriction. So this could be a temporary or permanent restriction, but the good thing about this restriction is that you will still be able to advertise on Facebook. You are not even if you are permanently restricted, there's a way you can actually advertise on Facebook. This restriction often comes as a result of multiple ad rejections. Maybe your copy is not in line with Facebook policy, or your images, or the way the way you maximize your ads account. There are different ways in which your ads can actually be rejected and you get this restriction. And this restriction often comes as a result of multiple ad rejection, like I've said, and it can only be when some certain policies are violated. So one of the way out of this is to have created a reserved ad account when your first ad account is still working. What this means is if you are advertising on Facebook through the business manager, you should have known about ad account. You should have an ad account is more like a section where ads are being created. So you should have an ad account, and on that ad account, you are entitled to about 250 ads on that very ad account. So if you are advertising on Facebook, I advise you create an extra ad account so that if you get restricted, you can switch into the next ad account. So so that when you are restricted, you don't find it difficult to advertise, because once you are restricted on a single ad account, you will not have access to even creating a new ad account again. Anything ad account, you will be neutralized. You just be still. There will be no action on as to that. So ensure you create a reserved ad account as soon as you start running ads, so that it will be on a reserved and you'll be on the safer side. Because there are some of these restrictions you can't actually bypass. There are some of the restrictions you can't really tell. And this algorithm is changing per day. So you need to, as a matter of urgency, create reservations so that you don't fall victim of the restriction. So the next thing, or the next type of restriction we'll be discussing, is Facebook page restriction. We all know that a Facebook page functions like a business shop. So without a Facebook page, there is no way you can run ads. And if your page is restricted, you can possibly create another page, which means you can only lose your page, including its engagements. And one of the major reasons most Facebook pages are restricted is as a result of the use of branded content. It's common in terms in clothing line, in and fashion accessories. It's very common in that niche. You discover that when you try to boost or you try to activate publish ad from the business manager, you'll be told that this page is restricted from advertising. So it's as a result of either the branded content or a copyrighted music on videos. So this is a major hit. Copyrighted music on video is a major hit. So ensure you disclaim most of these things, and you also you can blur. You can even just try to avoid them. Please avoid branded content and the use of copyrighted music. So there are some you may actually want to disclaim, but you can't really tell what will come up. So ensure that you are careful enough in what you are advertising. So the next one, which is, and before I go to the next one, just try to understand between this Facebook page restriction and that of the ad account restriction. For out of the ad account restriction, you can only have access to advertising with your business manager if you have a reserved ad account. But out of the page, you can possibly create new page. Creating new pages is very possible. So the only thing is you will lose some of the engagement on the old page and some of the content on the old page. And it's not stopping you from using, you can use a page normally, but when it comes to promoting on Facebook, the only way you can get your page to be running is just organic means. So you cannot advertise with a restricted page. So ensure that you follow these procedures, these policies carefully so that you don't jump into one. Then the next one is domain restriction. Facebook can possibly block you from directing ads to your website. So, and that could be landing page. So if it is considered to be violating their company standard, they will definitely block it. And this type of restriction may not necessarily stop you completely from advertising because you can change the domain used. So when this happens, it is either you appeal if you think the decision was wrong, or still you go for a new domain. Now, many people miss this. You want to advertise something and you are putting up other content, contradictory content on your landing page. Your ad copy is saying A and your landing page is saying B. Is deceitful and is kind of contradictory. Facebook will not want their users to be deceived, to be scammed and to be defrauded. So these are some of the reasons they are trying to actually be careful, because they are giving giving users access to their tools, and they are getting values out of their usage. So ensure that your domain is following up all the Facebook policies so that you don't fall victim of this advertising, this restriction. So the next thing is business manager restriction. This restriction can terminate your advertising access completely. I tell you, completely you can be terminated. If this occur, you won't be able to advertise with your business manager account anymore. So ensure you don't get trapped into this. And most of the factors that will result to this is an unverified business manager, multiple ad account restriction, a permanent profile restriction, which will be discussed on the next type of restriction. So ensure you change you stay focused to the next aspect of restriction. So now, for this business manager, you may actually not uh, lose the advertising access, because others can actually give you access to their business manager and you advertise through their business manager. So it means you can still advertise, but the issue is going to be having your own business manager won't be possible because you are on restriction. So now let's look at the next restriction, which we disconnect you from advertising completely. We have Facebook profile restriction. This type of restriction, if this occurs and there's no backup, believe me, it will affect all other assets, because your Facebook account is what guarantees you access to Facebook or Meta usage. If there is no Facebook profile, there will be no Facebook page, there will be no business manager, there will be no ad account. So your Facebook profile is more like the owner of the brand. So if the owner is crippled, the entire brand can be crippled, except the alternatives. Alternatives like the following: giving trusted users full access to your page, business manager, ad account, group, etc. This is the only way you can stand out in advertising. You can reinstate your advertising access. So now ensure to do the following in order not to get restricted, or in order to get out of the restriction. Have an identity card with the same details as your Facebook profile, such as your name, your date of birth, your photo, and let it be colored in preparation for verification, because you get some suspicious activities if you are trying to log in different uh, advertising, sorry, in different browsers or different device. So this is an example of a well accepted ID. I used this to verify an account and Facebook approved it instantly. This is an original, uh, what's it called, NIN for Nigerians. So if you are not from Nigeria, you can actually get any of your recognized form of identification, and ensure you have your name as same as what is on your Facebook. Your profile picture is correlating with your Facebook profile photo. Your date of birth is in line, and this is colored. So these are some of the things you need to look out for there before you can be rest assured that if there's any suspicious activity, you can be reinstated. So Give other trusted users, like I discussed earlier, full access to your page, business manager, ad account, groups, etc. So that if you are being restricted, they can have access to your business and they will help you to run ads or promote your product from their end. Then the most important of them all is for you to follow Facebook policy carefully. If you can follow your policy carefully, believe me, you have no issue with restriction. So every platform has its rules, T&C, their policies that you need to follow because they need to keep to their promises. And they will not, because of you advertisers, bend to their policies. So ensure you follow them strictly and you'll be running your adverts smoothly on Meta platform. This cut across to Instagram ads as well, not just Facebook, because Business Manager controls both the Facebook and the Instagram ads. So ensure that you understand this, you put down this very well. Remember, we are making reference to 5 meta restrictions, Facebook restrictions you should avoid and how to avoid them. And we've already discussed them. So ensure that you put to practice whatever you are learning from here, and ensure you give us feedback as to whatever it is that you need to hear from us so that we can pass it across. So ensure you don't just watch, but subscribe, like, drop comments, share to others so that people there can get value, the same value that you are getting, and they can actually stay away from this Facebook advertising restriction.